Awesome. Good afternoon. I absolutely love the Fireside Bonfire chairs. That no small details are missed. Wow, good afternoon. Welcome to what we hope will be an annual fan fest, or as we like to affectionately call it, the Bonfire. So great to see so many of you here today. Support from our season ticket holders is paramount. We're not here if you're not here, and we can never thank you enough for your support day in and day out. And you are the best fans in the NHL. We know that. And when people watch it on TV and they keep asking us when we go to NHL meetings, do you actually give away 18,000 jerseys? Because that's what they see on TV, and that's because you're all such great fans. Can't think of a better weekend than Thanksgiving, quite frankly, to be here, to give thanks, and to thank you for being here and all your support. And when I quickly think of Thanksgiving, I think of our Flames Foundation for Life and the great things we get to do in Southern Alberta. And it's because of your support, buying 50-50 tickets, coming to the poker tournament, coming to the golf tournament, that we can stand up here today and tell you that now, since inception, the Flames Foundation for Life has distributed over $60 million to organizations throughout Southern Alberta. Yeah, it's so cool, and Candice Gowdy, who you're going to meet later, does a wonderful job leading that. And it's nice to see you all in person. We were thinking and scratching our heads. Last time we would have done sort of a post-mortem end of the season gathering with season ticket holders was back in 18 or 19, actually. And we all remember after that, this thing called COVID showed up, and it interrupted our ability to do that. So then we morphed to that online Zoom call thing that we all did. And I know many of you, that got long in the tooth pretty quickly. It certainly did for us. But our goal today is simply this: to thank you for coming, to get you excited about the upcoming season. You know what, we wanted to share some entertainment. George Canyon, which we all know as the anthem singer, but he is way more than just the anthem singer. He is a recording artist, and he's also an author. I got the chance to read his book. He has a autobiography that he wrote, and I encourage all of you to read it. He thought it was kind of a paint-by-numbers book or something really simple, but you know what? He's a really beautiful human being that has an unbelievable life story, and it's really cool to hear that his son wants to get in the Air Force, because that's kind of one of George's things that he always wanted to do, but he couldn't. So George, thanks for being here today, and thanks for all that you do. And lastly, but most importantly, we want to just give you an update on what's happening here at the Scotiabank Saddledome. We asked you to send in questions. There was no less than 7 pages of questions, so thank you. Most of them were kind and gentle, and we appreciate that, but there were some hard-hitting ones too, and that's what it's all about. So we're going to do our best to answer your questions, and with that, I'm going to slide over to the fireside chat with Brendan.
The comfy chairs. Yeah, don't leave yet. You said questions. Look at all the questions we got, John. There's a few there.
Yeah, wonderful.
Well, welcome to the fireside chat.
Thank you.
This is the comfy portion of the show. And before we go too far, I think one of the first things that's on the list here is last year, because before we can move on and talk about this year and the excitement about this season up ahead, let's put away last year and maybe just sort of your feeling on how the season ended last year.
Well, I think I can say and share with many of you that it was a pretty big disappointment, quite frankly. We had high expectations heading into the season, and we failed to perform, and we know that. And it led to some pretty difficult discussions and some difficult decisions that we had to make. But we did make them, and quite frankly, we're really happy with where we've landed. And the major decisions that we made started with Don Maloney. We used to have a role called President of Hockey Ops, and we got away from that when Brian Burke left us. And one of the things we thought was really important in the hockey ops role was to actually have someone of Don Maloney's caliber. The guy played a ton of games. He had great flowing locks when he played, but he also has really good management skill. He worked in New York, general manager, and then he was in Arizona as a general manager, and he's been with us for 7 years. So we were really fortunate to be able to get a guy like Don Maloney, who we reached out to him and said, hey, would you be interested in the president of hockey ops role? And he said, absolutely. And so that was sort of step number one. And then Don and I worked through a process to find the new general manager. And we did a thorough search, and we searched far and wide. But boy, oh boy, were we fortunate to have a guy like Craig Conroy in our fold. Yeah, you bet. Thank you for that feedback. That's better than booing because he's coming here in a bit.
That's instant feedback, right?
Yeah, instant feedback. But you know what? Craig Conroy, a great human being to start with, played over 1,000 games in the NHL. He didn't get into the NHL right away. It wasn't instant. He was in the farm system for a couple of years, up and down, up and down. And the reason I share that with you is that he has that ability to have empathy with the young men that are trying to make the team today. And there's questions out there about, why is that guy up? Why is that guy down? Craig has the ability to communicate and actually look these young men in the eye and say, hey, I know where you've been, and here's what the best thing you can do to help your career. And so played a lot of games, can relate to the players. He does have an edge. You may not know that, but you don't play 1,000 games in the National Hockey League without having a bit of an edge. And so really positive, and so we're thrilled to be able to have Craig be our leader there.
It's so passionate too. I mean, you talk about people who want to see, the best happen for a team. I mean, it'd be hard pressed to find someone who has as much passion for this organization in this city as Craig Conroy.
Yeah, a passion for sure, and that's exactly the word we would use, Brendan. And funny too. Like it's okay to have some chuckles, and so it's kind of nice to bring that to the fold. And then Don and Craig obviously went out and did a search for a new head coach. And again, we looked far and wide. And again, we were so fortunate this organization has depth that we were able to land a guy like Ryan Huska. Ryan's got 21 years of experience coaching. Yeah, you bet. Another great human being, great interpersonal skills. He has an edge as well, by the way. The story goes that when he coached in Kelowna in the WHL in his first year, they had to tell him to dial it back. And so there's probably a fine balance there, and a very thoughtful human being. And so again, if we can promote from within, and he's been with us, coached 21 years, 7 with us, including the American Hockey League as the head coach, and then obviously helping to run our defensive core here. So a couple of really key big decisions, and you're going to get to hear from both Craig and Ryan later on. But that was kind of looking back and now looking forward.
Yeah, that segues perfectly. And obviously a lot of excitement, and we finally got through preseason and looking ahead 4 days away from the home opener. But this is a question that goes a little bit further than just this season. It's state of the league, being strong, players' salaries increasing, the projected salary cap, about a $4.5 million increase. Is that enough to see the cap going up, from your perspective?
Well, great question, and the answer is I just got back from New York. Actually, we were there for a Board of Governor meeting on Wednesday, and they give you a bit of a state of the league synopsis, both on hockey and how many goals are being scored, and we've never scored more goals in hockey than ever before, both in regular season and the playoffs. But they also get into the numbers, and so from a league-wide point of view, as most of you already know, we share 50% of our revenue with our players, and so right now the cap's at 83. Because of COVID and because of the year that when COVID hit, we had overpaid the players significantly. The Players Association and the NHL got together and said, okay, how are we going to solve this riddle? And they said, okay, we're gonna keep the cap low. We're only going to bump it up $1 million a year until the players pay us back. It was about a $30 million overpay that every team ended up overpaying the players. They will have paid us back this year, so that agreement to keep the cap artificially low will come off. And so theoretically, the cap should go to almost 100. But there's also in the agreement that says we're not going to let it go from 83 to 100 like a whipsaw, but you will see a cap bump of 4.5 to 5 a year until we actually get back to the point where the players' share of 50% will equal it, which right now would be 100. So it's going to get there, but it's a gargantuan from here to there is going to take a few years.
But seeing bigger chunks of increases then as we go along.
Yeah, for sure.
When you look at the new year, what are some of the goals senior management has set for the franchise? Any short-term or long-term you'd like to share?
Yeah, for sure. And so our main goal, we stand up in front of our board every year. First goal that we put up is to win championships for all 5 teams. And that is what this is about. That is what our goal is. That is why we spend to the cap. Both for the Flames and the Stampeders, that both have caps, and the Roughnecks. And so winning championships is number one. But our management team actually went away in January, did a little 2-day retreat, and we came up with, Brendan, we call it our playbook.
We got some graphics here we can show you.
Graphic here, there we go, there's the playbook. And so I thought it was really important that we share this with you. Senior management spent a couple days, we ground through words matter, commas matter, and where did we land? So here's our mission, and this is for you, is to be the heartbeat of our community by creating connections, building champions, and winning together. And so we kind of like that. We think one of the most magical things we do is create an opportunity for you to create connections, whether it's season ticket holders that see each other year in and year out, whether it's the Red Lot Party, where the 24-year-olds went in our playoff run a couple of years ago and created connections. We do believe that that's one of our primary jobs, is to create connections. It is to build champions, but it's building champions on the ice, on the field, but also off the ice. And then development, and you're going to meet our senior management team who are champions as well, and we all win together. And our vision is to be a global leader in delivering groundbreaking sports and entertainment through innovation and the use of cutting-edge and immersive technologies and an exceptional fan experience. It is about the fan experience. That's what we're here to do, and so that's kind of our focus, and it's kind of led to some things that we can share, that kind of what's new in the Saddledome.
Yeah, that's great stuff. And now, we have a couple. The questions that came in were a wide variety, and I know everybody grabbed some food and drinks on the way in, so I thought maybe we could do a little food and beverage theme here as well. Would you, the Flames, consider a concessions discount for season ticket members?
So we got that question, and well, there's rounds of applause.
There's the.
Well, let's do a poll. Let's do a show of hands. Show of hands. How many season ticket holders would like to see a discount?
That's
and can I see?
Unanimous?
Are there any that didn't want one? Okay, good, cool. Okay, so we hear you loud and clear, and so we are going to introduce a season ticket holder discount. It's going to start at 10%. You bet. So we talk about using cutting-edge immersive technologies. So there's something called the Flames app. We've taken control of our Flames app, and it used to be based by the NHL and whatnot. Here it is right there. We've now taken over control of it and the programming for it. And so the first thing I would encourage all of you to do, if you haven't done it, please download the Flames app. And there's the QR code right there. If you're not really keen on QR codes and downloading, we've got some wonderful people up on the concourse after this session. Go up there and they'll help you, and they can walk you through it. And so the Flames app, which will do a number of things, including allow you to manage your tickets seamlessly, so your Ticketmaster account will show up in your Flames app. So will your mobile season ticket holder card. It's a long answer to the question on the discount. We're going to use the season ticket holder card, it's mobile, for you to secure your discount at every concession. So some of you have 2 seats or 4 seats, and you're going to go, well, how's that going to work? So we're going to give you one mobile card for every seat that you have. And so if you share your tickets with someone else, you don't need to be here at the game. You just need to share that mobile card with your partner or whoever you do with your tickets. We're going to give you to the end of October to share the card. And no, we're not going to have you come back and say, I'm sorry, I lost my card. I need 8 more for my best friends. What this is supposed to be is a benefit for our valued season ticket holder members, and we're going to do that. We're going to do it through our new app and our new mobile card.
The discount just went to 11 at the end of the answer. That's how long the answer was.
Sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. It's still 10%. Though. But also, and on the app, it's all inclusive now. So it's the schedules there, and obviously all the video, anything that you do Flames TV wise too. It'll all be on there, written, video, and that's obviously the perfect place to go and find all of that up-to-date news and information as well. Let's move along to the Calgary Wranglers.
Can we
you
go
want to
back
jump in?
I want to go back, though.
Yeah.
But the app's also, and it's an evolution, so we'd love your feedback, please and thank you. If you think there's ways we can improve it, we'd absolutely love to embrace that. We are trying to do things like include know before you go, and I think we can all agree that the road system in this part of the district right now is nothing short of a nightmare. And I'm sorry. I wish I was in charge of roads. Not. But what I can tell you is that we do spend hundreds of hours communicating with the City of Calgary, communicating with Calgary Municipal Land Corporation, and trying to do our best to make the best of what is really challenging right now. But the app is going to give you some as current as you can get maps as to where's the right way to come in, where's the best place to park, Yeah, so it's a bit of a challenge, but that's another example of what we're going to try and do to communicate with you as best we can. But we know it, and I know this closing down 4th and 11th, by the way, is like almost mind-numbing. In some cities, you actually, when you have big events going, you actually put steel things back on and let people drive. But that, this is major infrastructure. I'll give them credit. It's really difficult. It's part of the Green Line. They're moving utilities. It's going to be there till mid-November, just to brace it, everybody. And so then they'll kind of put that back. But the app's going to have a lot of useful tools for you to engage. But please give us feedback. We want feedback.
Short-term pain, long-term gain, inevitably. Yes. Okay, let's. Unless there's anything else in terms of the app, I think I want to ask you about Calgary Wranglers too, because obviously we've got lots of tenants inside this building, and I know there's lots of Wrangler fans here as well that are among the Flames crowd. Yeah, absolutely, they deserve it. Top team in the American Hockey League last year. Wranglers' second season in Calgary. What's been the impact of having the farm team located in Calgary and having them in the same city as your big club?
Yeah, the greatest question we got on that is, what took you so long? And it's amazing when you think about the journey, and Rolly can talk about the time that he spent. Where was that, Rolly? Nebraska. Yeah, we bounced from Nebraska to Abbotsford to Utica to Stockton, and now we got the Wranglers here. And I have to tell you, it feels really good, and it works on so many levels. Most importantly is it gives an opportunity for all of you and all of Calgary to really get to see up front and close the prospects that we have in the system. And I don't think you can refer to anything other than last year as a resounding success to be able to see the Wranglers, who had great success in the league, as you say, Brendan, to watch Dustin Wolf, who not only was the American Hockey League goaltender of the year, he was the player of the year. Pretty cool. Really, really, really amazing. It allows our hockey operations to be more integrated, and so that working on systems and coaches collaborating, that's just like all day long in your sleep. But there's also another human element to it, which is kind of, it's really important. For these young men that are up and down, and they haven't quite found the rock solid spot in the NHL yet, isn't it great that they have one home? And that their families can be with them, and their families can get into schools, and they don't need to worry about dad being here, not being here, oh, we're moving again. And so there's a real human element as to why that really works as well, and so we couldn't be happier. We had a pretty decent start out of the gate for season tickets. We know some of you signed up for season tickets, and we really appreciate that. Some of you gave us feedback, hang on a minute, 45 of those Flames games and 36 of those Wrangler games, I almost need to get a cot here, and that's a really large diet, and we get that. Mike Franco's heard that, and his team has got, we've got some flex packages for you that you don't need to sign up for 36, but we'd love for you to continue to take in the games, watch some prospects, and we can try and accommodate your dietary needs as it comes to hockey.
Well said. Appreciate it. Okay, well, let's, above us, there's a few really important numbers hanging in the rafters, and soon we will add one more. Yeah.
Woo!
That is well-deserving of a nice ovation, and I mean, maybe just from an organization standpoint, to have an opportunity to celebrate a guy that was so important to our franchise, and to see fans also to get a chance to celebrate number 34. What does it mean?
Yeah, you know what? It's a really special moment. Miikka, it's a well-earned recognition, and we couldn't be more happy for him and his family. I think you've all watched our talented organization in the production and the event staging. Well, last time we did it for Jerome, you're going to see the same totally first-class acknowledgement for Miikka. And I know some people wondered whether he would even return calls. There was talk out there he didn't return calls. He returned our call. Of course he did. And what's interesting, though, is when Miikka played for us, some of you that maybe went into the poker tournament, if you were at his table, it was kind of a good news, bad news story. He was at your table. That was kind of cool. But what you knew about Miikka, he was a little bit shy, and so the first or second hands, he would go all in. And that was his way of giving his jersey away fairly quickly. But he
had to win sometimes, though.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple hands.
Yeah, for sure. But he's really excited to come, and part of it is because he had really young kids when he was here, And this is really going to be a really special moment for Miikka and his family, for his kids who are a little older now to be able to look up and watch some videos and hear some testimonials from some of the great alumni. And so it's really going to be a special moment for all of us, and it'll be a really special moment for Miikka.
It was great when we announced that. We did a Zoom call with him back in Finland, and we were talking about trying to see if he had maybe a jersey or something he could throw on, and he went through and he found a couple of great old shirts that were in his bag downstairs. I don't think he'd looked at them for a little while. The gear's been put away, but he was so excited. You could sense. I know it's shy and it comes off a little quiet, but there's a genuine excitement about being able to come back, and it'll be fun to celebrate Miikka. This building, the Saddledome. One great question here. We covered everything food and beverage wise. We talked.
No,
about
we didn't.
You got something else?
Yeah, no, we got a few other things. So in addition to the discount,
okay.
Wanted to highlight a few other innovations that we've got going. Some of you would have sampled the Angry Chicken. It's right back up here in 101 to 105. Angry Chicken is because there's a series of sauces there, and so if you want to do the popcorn chicken and burn your lips off, fill your boots. But it is fresh fried chicken. Brian Armstrong and Ziad Mio are really proud of that innovation. They've been watching the cycle times. It's going to take you 30 seconds to get your fresh chicken order. And so we couldn't be more excited for that. So that's kind of a cool innovation. And then we've got this Just Walkout Market, which is really amazing, a partnership with Amazon. And it's going to allow you to actually, well, it is right there. It's going to allow you to scan a credit card. It'll open up the gate. You walk in, and you can pick up your cotton candy, which apparently was one of the highest selling items at the Country and Western concert. I guess young ladies like cotton candy, because that was 70% young ladies at the concert.
And Giordano fans, apparently.
And yeah, there you go. Grab a beer, and you got to crack that beer before you leave, and then you walk out. And it's really going to help us from a couple of points of view. One, it should help crush some lines. Two, this is the first one in Canada that Amazon's done. We're ahead of Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment by a few weeks. You bet. This is about the fan experience. This is trying to improve the fan experience. And it's also going to allow us to really learn as we lead into what we might talk about later, is that new event center thing.
It's not on my list.
I might have thought it might be on your list. I think that was 2 pages of questions. But it's really going to allow us to test drive it. You guys, again, are going to give us great feedback, please and thank you, and so that we can refine it and nail it so that when we go to design the new event center, it's just a matter of how many of these will we have in that building.
It's a perfect segue, and I know that's the tantalizing one at the end, but maybe can you share with us, there's a question in here about this beautiful building here, and I know it's near and dear to many. What's your favorite part of the Saddledome?
Well, I have a couple of favorite parts, I generally will try and watch a couple periods up top in the press box, which is about the best seat in the house, believe it or not, because you get to see all the play develop. And but the coolest part about that is that when we are in a either home opener or it's a playoff game, this building is vibrating, which is the most special part of the Saddledome. And when you're up in that press box, it's almost moving, actually. And you have faith in engineers that what they've got those things hooked onto, you're okay.
Trust the process.
Okay. Yeah, trust the process, trust the process. So yeah, amazing building, great sight lines. If you're a suite holder and your suites are on row 14, you won't get any better in the NHL. I hate to break it to you, but you're going to be a little higher up in the new event center, but still going to be an amazing experience. Should we just slide into the new event center?
No, I think that's it, John. I think we're good here. We don't have to have any more questions. Okay. No, we do. We have one more. I'm going to read it verbatim because it came in many different forms, this question, as you can expect. But when will we be finding out more details on the new arena project? When is it expected to break ground and to be completed? There's a few big ones.
Just a few, and you would, if you read the Herald today, you'll see there's a little bit of debating going on because some from the province said 26-27 season, and then Michael Thompson, who is a rock star with the city, by the way, came out and he didn't quite backpedal, but he said, well, maybe 26-27, maybe 27-28. That's the truth, actually. We are trying to get this done for September of 2026, and we are focused for sure. Yeah, that's rapid fire, by the way. And we'll manage your expectations. So we are working really hard on that. There's a couple good visuals here. But if we can't get it done for September of 2026, then it will be September of 2027. And we're keenly focused on that. So that's the when part. What I will tell you is what we've become is really good at legal agreements. And we don't want to be really good at legal agreements anymore. Cameron Olson, Robin Scott, who is our CFO and our legal counsel, worked tirelessly to get these agreements across the line. This will be the third time we got agreements across the line. So let's just all agree we're really good at getting agreements done. Now let's get the proof in the pudding, and can you actually break ground and get this thing built? And the answer is yes, we will. And I am more optimistic than ever for the following reasons. One, we now have 10 acres. You can leave that slide up, by the way, if you don't mind. We have 10 acres instead of 7 acres last time. So what does that mean? Well, that means we can now do the community rink. We compromised last time because we only had 7 acres that we didn't have room for it, so we said, no, let's throw it to the side. That's a mistake. We get to correct that mistake. So 10 acres allows us to do a community rink, which is fabulous for minor hockey. It's also fabulous for operating Calgary Sports and Entertainment Corporation. Saddledome's become one of the busiest buildings in North America when we bought the Wranglers back here. So it becomes a bit of a game of Jenga when you talk to Susie Darrington for scheduling everything. So if we can have a community rink with a practice facility bolted on, that helps on so many levels. It also helps that it's another sheet of ice for minor hockey in Calgary. So more land has allowed us to do a community rink, tick the box. It also allowed us to do an indoor gathering place. So it's January and it's minus 20. I know how much you guys are all excited about queuing up outside. Wouldn't it be great if we had an indoor gathering place for you to queue? Yes, so we have that. Outdoor plaza. The last design, our outdoor plaza, was actually right on the front door of where you were supposed to come in when the playoff game was on. So it was kind of hard to imagine how we were going to do a playoff party and have you get in the building. So now we have a properly sized outdoor plaza. Again, thanks to the 10 acres. And then we also have, you'll see on the right-hand side there, a 500-stall parkade. Last time we had a 200-stall parkade, and it was almost like it was jammed into the middle of your stomach. Almost on center ice, not quite. We now have enough land to properly source and construct a 500-stall parkade. And the good news is, we're going to keep the 450-stall Saddledome parkade as well. I'm hoping we put a new skin on it so that it looks a little better than what we've got. But we'll now have 950 parking stalls within a block of the arena. So those are all reasons for optimism as well. And we have a budget of $926. Last time we started with a budget of $550, it grew to $600. You saw us do our dance, and you're like, why did you ever do that? We did it for reasons, and we didn't have a building design, so we started with a number that we kind of threw up on the wall. Well, the good news is this time we actually had a pretty good design of a building that was going to have 18,000 to 18,400 seats. So we had a pretty good idea of what we were looking for, so then we could cost it, and they updated the costing to 2021 when we were in the middle of the discussions, or 2022. And so we knew that we were now starting with a number called 926, and so another reason for optimism. So I think it's all lined up well, and then lastly is we put an unbelievable project team together. City and CSEC have hired the firm called CAA Icon. They're in this biz, they're really good at it. You'll see Michael again today in the Herald referred to what they've done before, including that building up north. And I just refer to it as that and nothing more. But they've done other buildings as well. So they're leading the charge this time. And we've got a very knowledgeable development manager. We've then hired Dialogue HOK. They were on the file the last time. They have an intimate knowledge of our program and our program needs. And so they're back so we can hit the ground running on the design and update the design. And then we've got Canna Mortensen, who were also on the file last time and are integral. And the good news is when you're designing a building, the best time to get the construction manager in is on day one, not the day you're going to break ground, because they can influence a lot on the design. So we have a fantastic team put together. And then CSEC has a great team put together. Susan Darrington, who's our VP of Building Ops. Again, she came from, if you want to look at her bio, she came from up north as well and spent 5 years there helping to open that building. She's got great experience elsewhere in Seattle and down south, like deep south into the Americas, that she's helped open buildings. So she's going to help lead the charge. And then we've hired two gentlemen, Bill Sen, who was on the file last time. We pulled him out of retirement twice. He's been on Air Canada Centre years and years ago. and we got him back, but we also have Tom Bond from PC Sports. PC Sports is like a CAA icon firm, but he's on our side helping represent our ownership group and CSEC. So we have a great team, and then the city has a great team as well. They've got Faisal Laka and James McLaughlin, who are two excellent individuals, along with Michael Thompson. And then they hired a guy named Bob Hunter. Well, Bob Hunter worked at Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. He actually worked with Bill Sen when they built the Air Canada Centre. But Bob Hunter knows how buildings run. So I'm giving you this much granularity to tell you I'm as optimistic as I can be. We've got the right amount of land, we've got the right amount of money, we've got the good design and the good elements, and we've got really good people. So we're going to get it done this time.
Symmetry, well said, and obviously the benefit of seeing some of these other buildings and what might fit the characteristics. I know everyone will get excited about design, and that'll come, but a lot of opportunities to see other buildings and what might fit the characteristics of the future home of the Calgary Flames. Good stuff. Thank you, John. I think that's all we got for you. That's it. The whole script is over.